guys, welcome back to another episode of Her Playbook Podcast with Devon and Jaden. We haven't been in the studio in a while, it feels like.
No, I mean, it's really hard to get a consistent time. Just to put it into perspective for everybody, the living situations. I'm in Hermosa Beach. Mm-hmm. You're in Brentwood. Mm-hmm. We practice in Hermosa Beach. Mm-hmm. And then the studio's in Brentwood. So it's hard. It's really close to you, and we practice in Hermosa, so it's like everything's close to me, and then these things are close to you, but it's like an hour in between.
It would be so beneficial if everything was just right in the same place.
Right in the same place, yeah, which is why I need you to move to Hermosa. But and yeah, so it's been a while since we've been here. It's also just really hard with the amount of traveling we're doing, I think, that we're not even in LA anymore. Like a lot of the time we're being spent in Denver, which we just got back from.
Yeah, we just got back from playing in Denver. It was in the AVP Denver tour stop, and we had a lot of great games, and we were playing against some of the best, and we had some really close 3 sets, some wild play, and it just felt good to compete again. It's been a while since we actually have been in a tournament, since
Hamburg.
Huntington, actually.
That wasn't even a real tournament.
Yeah, so it's been months.
Yeah.
It felt good.
It felt really good. And I think that I mean, we talked about this, but like before we left for Denver, it felt like that whole week of practices, like they just didn't feel good for me. Mm-hmm. And like, I was like so worried going into Denver because I was like, there's nothing worse than when you just have like a couple bad practices right before like this amped up competition of like, we haven't competed in so long. And so I wanted to be feeling really good going into it, but I didn't. That just like wasn't going to happen. But then you and I talked about it, and it was just like, I mean, I honestly think for me, it was like the competition bug. Like I haven't played in so long that practices just seem to be getting like very repetitive and like the same thing. And just, I don't know, getting to Denver and actually getting to play was so much fun. And like having that extra pressure on you was awesome. Yeah, we like to take things to 3. I'm not kidding. Like we would be up by like 6 points. We already won the first set. And then I blink and it's 21-21. And I'm like, no, there's no way.
I know.
But good for us because we pulled it out every single third setter. Every third setter we won.
Yeah.
We lost to Abby and Sabby, which are 2 of our teammates who ended up winning the whole thing. Mm-hmm. So it's always a good thing to lose to the winners. Mm-hmm. It was still a really close game. I think it was 17-18. And then so that one didn't go to 3, but that keeps our streak alive, that if we go to 3, we like to win.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about us in pressure situations, but it's been happening a lot. And it's kind of good to be in those situations, especially when there's a lot on the line. And we kind of just get into the flow of things. And it just seems like we're used to playing in pressure situations, which some people aren't. So
no, 100%. And I think that it's important for us to have that pressure constantly. And then I think moving forward in the next couple weeks, it's going to be hopefully learning how to not even put yourself in that situation, which is going to be nice.
It's about the consistency all the way through.
Yes.
So,
and we just kind of updated our whole schedule. And so theoretically, the next like big AVP tournament isn't until first weekend of August. And I think that we just wanted more competitions on our schedule. So we will be playing in a couple more like CBVAs, which are just like local tournaments that have a bunch of younger girls. And it's just fun to go out there and try some new things. Like I'm already really excited for the one we'll play in next weekend. And yeah, we had a really nice practice this morning, and it just feels so good to leave a tournament and then take a little break and then get back into the swing of things.
Yeah, we have been traveling, it seems like nonstop since May.
But even before that, like we've been traveling, honestly, like since we even traveled in preseason, like pretty much before preseason in last September, we did Europe. So that was like the start of all of this travel. It's been a year.
It's been a crazy year, and it's been nonstop. It's been so much fun, but sometimes it can be hard to keep your routine and keep things, going while you're on the go. So do you have any tips or tricks, things you do when you're on the road?
Yeah, I mean, travel is like just part of the job. And so it's something that you have to get good at. Like if you're a bad traveler, you're not going to set yourself up well for this kind of game.
Right.
And so I go against like every single thing that everybody else does in terms of sleeping. Like I am such a sleeper. I can sleep anywhere. So I will like sleep the entire plane ride. It doesn't matter if it's like a 16-hour flight or it's a 2-hour flight. Like I'm asleep the whole time. And for me, that works because if I try to force my body to stay up, it's just like, it doesn't hurt me when I sleep more. I probably needed that extra sleep. So I sleep the entire day. Like must have priority for me though is like I have to practice that day. Doesn't matter like what time I get in, I need to move my body around because there was one tournament that me and you did in Virginia Beach last year.
Yeah.
And we flew in and we didn't practice that day and we had the qualifier the next day. The entire day my body just felt horrible. And you go from being on a plane all day and you don't move your body, you get back in bed. It's like you can't expect yourself to compete at the highest level the next day. So even if that is just like spending an hour outside or running around or just doing a dynamic warm up, whatever it may be, like whatever you have in front of you, you have to do it because like you can't expect your body to go from 0 to 100 within a day. And so I think that's like the biggest thing I've learned.
Yeah. I mean, traveling on an airplane for competitions, we do it all the time.
Yeah.
And for me, something that happens to me is I get really swollen. So I've been looking into getting some of those like compression tights or socks or things like that. And then also UCLA gave us Fireflies, which are these, what are they, like bands that wrap around like the bottom of your kneecap.
Yeah.
And it stimulates your blood and like creates blood flow through your knees, and it's supposed to help with swelling too. So I've been doing that on airplanes, and also there's some great things on Amazon that we have come across from traveling with UCLA, like that one head pillow.
Oh yeah. So there was this, so before we left for Europe, we knew it was going to be like a 16-hour flight, whatever. I always sleep with, you take the tray out and you just put your head down like this, and sometimes it gets just like a little uncomfortable on the neck for like a 16-hour flight. And so we bought these in like 8 people showed up with them in the morning. Nobody talked about it, but they're these pillows that like you blow them up and you put your arms through and you can just rest your head kind of like this, and you can also keep your phone right there if you want it as well. I used it the whole way on Europe. I loved it. Except on the way back, the TSA agent told me I was not allowed to be blowing that up. So I kept it to myself. But I still bring it out like every once in a while. I brought it to our Europe trip, but I didn't end up needing it. I also get really cold on planes. So like I always bring my sarong in my backpack in case I'm really cold and I can just like use it as a blanket. And I always, doesn't matter where I am, if I'm in like 90-degree weather, I'm traveling in sweatpants and a sweatshirt because I always need like a hood over me to kind of like lay up on and cover my ears.
Yeah. Another thing I like too is the sound machine. Like,
you love your sound machine.
I love like the sound of the waves. So I have this app on my phone called Power Nap, and I'll just plug it into my AirPods, put it in, play, and I'm just closing my eyes. I'm like in the ocean, like sailing away. It's actually so nice, but some people just prefer music, which I understand.
I do a podcast. That's like the only way to get me to sleep.
Oh, yeah.
Like a good one too. But I think that traveling is so like, is become so essential in our lives that like you have to be a good traveler.
Yes.
And I think that a big part of that as well is like what you're doing on the road, like let alone the travel itself. Like you're not in your routine. And that's something that I have a really hard time with when I'm away for a long time, is that like there are certain things I do at home and I can really only do them at home. Like I wake up in the morning, I make my own breakfast. I go to my own gym where I know where everything is. They have everything. They have my recovery tools with me as well. What do you think is like the hardest part, and what have you learned to do on the road to make you feel like most comfortable?
Well, just recently I was in Wyoming with my boyfriend on a trip, and we were having the best time in Wyoming, and it was so much fun. And we decided to drive home. So it ended up being 16 hours in 2 days. So we split it up 8 hours and 8 hours. And just being on the road for that long, it was really hard to, you know, move your body. Like you have to be in the car. There's not much you can do. So I kind of struggled with that. And then also just stopping along, like to get food, it became so expensive. And I don't know, like I would drive by In-N-Out and be like, I need
100%.
Like, I need it.
100%.
There's also not many options when you're on the road. So my advice is to bring a cooler, pack a cooler, bring your own snacks and food. we did that for a portion of the trip, and it actually became a lot easier because we were able to make sandwiches and have healthier snack options when you're in the middle of the desert and there's nothing. And then I'd also say hydrating is so big when you're traveling, because it can be so easy just to forget about water or not want to drink water because you don't want to take another pee break. But staying hydrated was huge. And then I also like to pack electrolytes and vitamin C packets, just to throw those in every once in a while to feel better and balance out my hydration.
Totally. I think for me, there's this big stress that comes along with being somewhere far, like, or away for a long time. And like every time I'm booking a trip, my mom always says, like, are you sure you want to go for 4 nights? Because like you tend to get stressed when it's 4 nights, because that means you're 5 days out of your routine and stuff like that. And for me, it took a while for me to understand that, like, it's not like you shouldn't be so hard on yourself when you're not able to do like the things you normally do. Like, I was harder on myself the past couple of days because I stayed in Denver longer, and then I had a work trip in Newport. And so like these are things completely out of my control. I can't practice. There's no time for me to practice. And then the gym was incredibly small and didn't really have exactly what I would need for like my typical workout. And I also was under the weather. And so I remember I was like really trying to talk myself out of it, because I think a lot of the time when I was younger, I would travel and I would be like, oh my gosh, like I am going to lose all of what I just worked for the past month because it's been 3 days and I can't move my body appropriately. But I didn't, like, first of all, like, your muscle doesn't like go away like that quickly. And like just little things of like moving around and like going and exploring a new city you're in, or going and doing things, like your body's moving on its own, and like your body might need the rest. And I think that every time I get so worked up about it and so stressed about it, and then like, for example, I took this complete week off, and I don't think I worked out maybe once or twice, which is not typical for like a typical week for me. We come to practice today and we were talking about it, like, the first 10-15 minutes is hard when you're getting your heart rate going. But it comes back so quickly. Like if you can allow yourself the grace of like giving that period to just enjoy yourself rather than being harder on yourself, and then come back knowing, okay, you're going to like die for a little bit in the beginning, but it will come back. Like now I'm back in my routine and I'm totally normal, and I'm so glad I didn't stress myself out on my trips.
I know. I feel super similar. Sometimes I feel like it's guilt.
It is.
You go on a trip and you're having fun, you're out late, you're not sleeping that much, and then you come back and it's like, I got to get to work. And like you were saying, sometimes your body needs a break. And I feel like when you're go, and all you're thinking about is your sport, that is going to cause burnout. And that's how players and athletes get burnt out, is just by only thinking about their sport and how they're going to improve in their sport.
There's like you have to have like a shift in a mental space in your mind to say, this is my work and this is my life. And like volleyball is not my entire life. So if I based every decision in my life around if it's beneficial for volleyball or not, like I've done that before, and it is like puts you in the darkest place, because you can find a reason why nothing is okay. Like, oh, you want to go out to dinner with your friends for one night? Well, you're not going to hit your protein, you're not going to hit your carbs, your vegetables, it's expensive, whatever. But that's like valuable time you're taking away from something that like I enjoy doing. And I think I always go back to that as like, I'm here to like enjoy my life. And like, that's the whole purpose of being on this earth, is to like be happy and do what you want to do. So if I'm going to decide to extend a trip and like enjoy that time with my family, like I'm not going to skip family dinners. I'm not going to skip like these activities and these good times because they might like quote unquote not be good for my sport.
So true.
Okay. I can't tell the hack because I don't want Aura to find me.
No.
So I got Jaden a little gift. She's repping it right there. And we both have matching ones now. So we have the Aura ring. I've been using the Aura ring for, I want to say like a year and a half now. I used to have a Whoop. No hate to the Whoop. It has great information on it. It's ugly. It's not cute. And then it also, you have to pay for a membership every single month. That's like pretty expensive. And then when I was thinking about it in terms of like longevity, I was like, do I really want to be paying like $25 a month for the rest of my life? No. So I got this, which was like a one-time like bigger fee, and especially if you get the gold one. But shout out to my mom because she got it. And then I think you pay a small monthly fee. But I'm obsessed with it when I can remember to charge it and use it. Like seriously use it to track my sleep and to my workouts, and it's just kind of like a fun statistic. But you got one like what? I gave that to you like 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
And tell me your thoughts.
I have been loving it. I wake up every single morning excited to check my score.
Yeah. It's
And yeah, it's cool. And I think there's so many different ways that you can
Yep.
track your sleep and, your whatever. But I think this Aura Ring is really cool because it breaks down everything for you and it makes me want to be better. So it's like
a motivating piece. I
is.
totally agree with that. Like
Yeah.
when for some reason on Sunday nights, this is like my usual routine, especially when I'm coming back from a trip, is like I get I get my room completely clean. I like charge everything and I like specifically use my Aura Ring and I'm like, okay, I'm going to check my sleep this week, make sure I'm getting enough, see my daily strains that I can use that for my sleep. And it makes me feel so put together.
I know.
I don't know what it is.
It's also kind of nice because it tracks your activity and then it tracks your sleep and then how you're gonna be that day, the next day. It's like, oh, you're fully recovered, go get it. Like, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna get after it today.
100%.
And then I haven't really had one yet, but it's like it can show you when, you know what, maybe you should take the day off.
It says that all the time.
Maybe you don't need to go into the gym and maybe instead you just go on like a stroll, you go on a walk or you do yoga or like something that's just different. And before the Aura Ring, I don't think I would have really paid attention to that.
I have a story about Aura Ring.
Okay.
So around like when was this? I would say in February, I was just not feeling good. Like I had gotten COVID in January. Maybe it was like March. It was in the middle of season. So yeah, like around March or April.
Yep.
I had gotten COVID in January. I have just like not been feeling my best. And like I constantly been feeling like low energy and just like I am getting all the right sleep. I am getting like everything I'm doing is like correct.
Yeah.
But I still just like don't feel good. So I go to the doctor. They're just like, I don't know. Let's order like blood tests, whatever. And then I go and see a second doctor and he's like, okay, well, we need to track your HRV, which is like your heart rate variability. And that tells you how quickly your body's recovering or not. And they told me like, they were like, we need to track that over the next couple of weeks. So we're going to get you a Whoop. And I was like, well, wait, like I'm wearing an Aura Ring. And they were like, I was like, does that track it? And I went and it looked at it and it had been tracking it. And my scores were like all in the red for the past month of like my HRV. And that was like the only thing that was like not normal on my schedule and on my information. And so because of like Aura Ring, I looked up and I met with like a bunch of different people to figure out like how you get your HRV score like up higher. And I was able to do that just by like, you have to have like certain days you have to recover more. So like it was all recovery based for me. So like I would meet with our strength trainer and he would tell me like wear blue light glasses to bed and like you don't want your eyes to be seeing like a bunch of light before. And then also like sounds weird but like, and I'm sure you noticed like I was doing more like biking and I was going on that assault bike like way more because it actually like recovered my legs really well.
I got all it in. Keep going. It's like a dead frog popped out.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, okay.
Oh my god.
Okay, get it together.
All right. Anyways, I was on the bike a lot more. Oh my god, you're crying.
I'm fine.
You're making me hot.
No, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I was on the bike a lot more because it was flushing out my legs and it like completely changed everything. And it was only because I was wearing my Aura Ring.
Gosh, I love this thing.
I know.
Well, thank you for getting it for me.
You're welcome. Anytime. So we have our biggest tournament, I think, for like both of us of the entire season. And that's coming up in middle of August. I think it's August 14th through 16th, 15th through 17th, 15th through 17th.
Yeah.
And it's Manhattan Beach AVP. And like they call this like the granddaddy of them all. It is like, it is the biggest tournament for beach volleyball in the United States.
Yes.
Like that, I mean, that's the only way I can put it. And like that's like what you train for all season theoretically. And it's a little bit more added pressure this year because they introduced the AVP League. And because Jaden and I are in the running for the league, which we didn't expect, we're in the running for it. This puts like even more pressure on it, which is so fun. So that's coming up. And then, yeah, I mean, keep updated with our Instagrams because that's going to kind of keep growing, and that'll be where you can find all the information.
Exactly. Yeah, we got a few more busy weeks ahead of us,
Yeah.
but I'm so excited to keep competing.
Me too.
And working on the things we're working on in practice and putting them into play during tournaments. So,
Me too.
alrighty. Well, I think that's a wrap, guys.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye.